Hey guys, it's Corinne. I wanted to share with you this book by Neville Goddard called The Power of Awareness. I have been studying Neville Goddard's books for the last year. I love to read. I have bookcases full of shelves. But Neville Goddard is powerful. He really talks about assuming your desires and really becoming that which you desire to be. In this book, The Power of Awareness, chapter 4, Desire, is really potent. So I wanted to share that with you. So here we go. The changes which take place in your life as a result of your changed concept of yourself will always appear to the unenlightened to be the result of not a change of your consciousness, but of chance, the outer cause or coincidence. However, the only fate governing your life is the fate determined by your own concepts, your own assumptions. For an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. The idea you seek and hope to attain will not manifest itself, will not be realized by you until you have imagined that you are already that idea. There is no escape for you except by the radical psychological transformation of yourself, except by your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Therefore, make your results or accomplishments the crucial test of your ability to use your imagination. Everything depends on your attitude toward yourself. That which you will not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you. Everything depends on your attitude toward yourself. That which you will not affirm as true to yourself can never be realized by you. For that attitude alone is the necessary condition by which you realize your goal. All transformation is based on suggestion, and this can only work where you lay yourself out completely open to influence. You must abandon yourself to the idea as a woman abandons herself to love. For complete abandonment to self is the only way to union with your idea. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the necessary sensories, vividness of reality. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. That is, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it, and the feeling crowds out all other ideas of your consciousness. The man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled, in the faith that it is the only way to the realization of his dreams, is not ready to live consciously by the law of assumption, although there is no doubt that he does live consciously by the law of assumption unconsciously. But for you who accept this principle and are ready to live by consciously assuming that your wish is already fulfilled, the adventure of life begins. To reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. If you will not imagine yourself other than that you are, then you remain as you are. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. John 8:24. If you do not believe that you are he, the person that you want to be, you will remain as you are. Through the faithful, systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, desires become the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. So that is chapter 4 on desire. And there's just a couple things that I wanted to point out. Neville talks about the only change that we make is in our inner consciousness, is by creating a change within ourselves. And when you change yourself, people in the outer world will assume that you got lucky or this circumstance changed and therefore you change. But there is no change other than that which we adopt. And then he goes on to say that we must, the idea you seek and hope to attain will not manifest until you have imagined that you were already that idea. You cannot change externally until you've changed internally. And that's why I love this book in Neville Goddard, because he really highlights the fact that we are always creating and reaffirming our self identity of who we are, what we have, what we can be. And those affirmations and those beliefs are what is creating the outer. Um, and so the last couple sentences he goes in to say is that through a systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, desire becomes the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. So that assumption is not just wishful thinking. He's saying to systematically cultivate. And the word cultivate, when you cultivate something, you're harvesting, you're nurturing, you're developing. To cultivate that feeling of what you desire to be. So if you desire to have more money in your life, you desire to have a better job, you desire to improve your health, you have to cultivate that feeling of who you want to become. And he even talks about how you must abandon yourself to your idea as a woman abandons herself to love. For complete abandonment to self is the way to union with your idea. So you have to let go. You have to abandon your old concept and adopt these wonderful, new, beautiful desires and ideas of yourself. You must imagine that you are already experiencing that which you desire. That is, you must assume the feeling of your desire until you are possessed by it. And this feeling crowds out all other ideas of your consciousness. And I believe that is also key. You can't be in two places at the same time, physically, emotionally, and mentally. If you're extremely happy, you can't be sad. Napoleon Hill talks about this a lot as well. You can't adopt that success consciousness and still think of yourself as a failure. You must crowd out, get rid of all other concepts and adopt that feeling and cultivate that feeling of the wish fulfilled. And that desire becomes the promise of its own fulfillment. So there you go. The Power of Awareness by my man, Neville Goddard. And this is chapter 4, Desire. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching.